The following podcast is a next level production.
Why would he kill Coombs and Countess when he was your team leader? You have any idea? I'm really glad to have you with me on this one, pal. Seriously, you're the only one I can count on.
Hey, Poundlers, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about The Boys, Season 3, Episode 6, entitled Herogasm. So, I'll talk about the synopsis this time.
Go ahead.
Alright, the synopsis for this particular episode, Herogasm. You're invited to the 70th Annual Herogasm. You must present this invitation in order to be admitted. Same rules as always. No cameras, no non-soup guests unless they sign an NDA, and they're DTF. And no telling any news media. It's BYOD. But food, alcohol, and lube will be provided. And please remember to RSVP so we can get an accurate head count for the caterer. Thank you, Vought, for that particular synopsis.
Such a wild episode.
It is. So, with that, we'll go into our initial thoughts about the episode. What were your initial thoughts, Steve?
Just how crazy it is from that very beginning card, which I have it copied verbatim, that opening title card that they gave us, to just a wild episode, seeing Love Sausage again, and all the craziness. A lot happened in this episode. We really moved the story forward quite a bit, really, but we've also, got some more questions. We still don't know exactly where Maeve is. We don't know where Noir went. But it was really, really good. We got another heartbreaking moment between Huey and Annie, which I'll talk about in my notes. But it was just another. I can't even say how crazy it was, because that's just that sequence there in the middle when they get to the house is just wild. And then when Huey interjects himself, transports himself in there, he fit right in being naked, So, yeah, just the overall craziness of it. And then him teleporting Annie out, and the both of them being naked, on the side of the road.
And having that confrontation, too, while they're naked.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it was just really just a wild and crazy episode.
Yeah, well, my first reaction was, wow. Well, I was impressed with the craziness of this episode. There was a lot of gasm in it, that is for sure, accordingly. There was that particular plot before that we had to see, building up to it, which I enjoyed because it was basically a setup, which was fine. And we knew it was only going to be X amount, and then we get the final ending. But I did love the intro statement. Some scenes may not be suitable for some, really most. Let's be honest, all viewers. But rest assured that any consensual relationships depicted, be they human, animal, superhero, or other, aren't real. Harmed no one, and in fact cost a hilariously large amount in visual effects. That was the intro to the movie, or show, as it were, and the episode. It's hilarious that we got that. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, the whole Herogasm experience itself. Now, mind you, there's more extremism that you could see on Pornhub or whatever. But with this, it was a bit extremism based upon soup stuff. But it was definitely a marker on television history based upon pornography in some respect.
Yeah.
There are a lot of nude people, a lot of weird things going on with supes or villains, who knows? And it was enjoyable just to see, just for a glint. And you go, okay, I saw that. That was interesting. And that's it. And you move on to the story at hand, which is what we're more looking forward to. A lot of people who are pervy will probably be looking at that and freeze framing certain scenes, but that's their choice.
Yeah.
But to me, I was more interested in saying, okay, that was the whole experience. It was kind of like a rated R version of like a really bad movie that's out there that everybody's all naked and doing real debauchery stuff. But honestly, it was entertaining in the sense of the story plot, and it worked forward, and I really enjoyed that. And then we got more out of it too, because there was more discussion points that we're going to go into, and I really love that, and we should go into that now with our discussion points, as it were.
Absolutely. I want to talk about Soldier Boy first.
Sure.
That opening scene with him and them bringing him the food, and he's like, "Where's the Oriental sauce?" And I thought,
"Yep."
And
you can't call it that.
They don't do that. They don't give it that. They don't call it that anymore. They don't do that. They don't make that anymore. You know, and in reference to, wasn't it McDonald's, the Szechuan sauce or something like that?
Yeah, Szechuan sauce is a McDonald's thing that they come out every so often.
Yeah,
but some people get a little bit crazy about. But the thing is also, it's like he kind of said it, the Oriental sauce.
yeah. And I loved all the things that he's just referencing in the thing. And then I loved his line when Huey is naming all the things he didn't know. Like, you don't know what GPS is. You don't know the internet. You don't know this. And he looks at you made those words up. I just thought it was great. And it reminded me of what was it, Guardians of the Galaxy, where he says, all words are made up.
Yeah, you're right.
I really loved it. And then seeing him, snorting up the bennies and drinking, it looked like he was drinking Jameson straight out of the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And then later he's drinking from a souvenir cup,
a souvenir cup of the soups.
Yeah, with the Dawn of the Seven on it there. He references Bill Cosby as being the best, making the best drinks, but being the best TV dad. Just all things.
You could reference Wilhelm when they talk about on Father's Day with that.
Yeah, I've got that at the end in podcast recommendations because they talk about Bill Cosby. He brings up Liberty also, which that was Stormfront's name. Remember, before she changed her look, and so just really great. All this stuff. I can't wait. I wonder if he's going to eventually figure out what his trigger is, or if he's just lying to people that he actually knows it's the Russian kind of pop music kind of thing.
Because it's something else, maybe. Yeah.
Well, no, I think we know it's got to be that, because that's what happened in New York, and he says he blacked out, and then that's what was on the radio in the house here before he exploded. And again, he says he blacked out. I don't know.
It could be foreshadowing too, for the fact that Homelander could use that to get at Soldier Boy at a later point, and that could be our demise of Soldier Boy. And it's really scary if he gets that information from Ashley, all the media people, if they were able to get that.
Yeah,
that video footage.
We'll have to see if they're able to figure it out or something. But what else? Oh, the twins mentioning that Noir was the one who had the plan to hand him over to the Russians. So I can't wait to see what that confrontation is going to be like, because we know Noir, essentially almost can't be killed, it seems.
Yeah.
But I got to find out.
He could be maimed, because we saw that in a flashback.
He could be hurt.
Yeah. And that leads me to my first point, which is Noir taking out his tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because of the talk about Soldier Boy going after with Homelander and Ashley and the Deep, and how they were going to go after his old crew, Soldier Boy's old crew, and Noir just taking it out, cutting it out of his arm. Oh. And I wonder where the next episode goes with this, particularly because after that, we don't see anything of Noir at all.
Mm-hmm.
Will he be in favor of Butcher and the boys, or will he be in favor of Soldier Boy at this point?
Yeah.
And, but that was a gruesome scene because even the woman in the elevator, I wouldn't want to be her, and he cuts his arm open, hands it to her, and he's still bleeding out. I guess he could heal fast.
Yeah, I think it's like a Deadpool. I think we talked about this in one of the earlier seasons, that it's like a Deadpool kind of thing, that he heals from these things. But yeah, it really was just a crazy, crazy scene. And the fact that none of them even mentioned the fact that Noir was on Soldier Boy's team. Like, it seems like they almost have blocked that out of their memory, because you think that would have been the first thing they thought of is, oh, do you think he's coming after you?
Yeah.
Because Homelander wasn't, when Deep tells him that he cut out his chip and he left, Homelander's like, no, Noir wouldn't do that. And of course he would do that. Soldier Boy's coming after him. He's literally the most public member, now that's left alive, the most public member of that former team. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's like one of the OGs from that particular team.
My next one is just Marvin. We got a lot of backstory on Marvin. We got a lot of character development on Marvin in this episode. It was really, really cool. I loved his rant about not wanting to turn the other cheek, and how, why am I always the one who has to turn the other cheek and be the nice guy? I loved just his interaction with Starlight, and then all the things that happened with him in that house. It was just hilarious. But I also love that Starlight kind of brings him back to helping people, there at the end. But we did get the story of what actually happened, what Soldier Boy did to his family. And then I was just, the second time particularly, I was just chilled by Jensen Ackles' delivery of those two words when Marvin says, "You killed my family," and Jensen Ackles, as Soldier Boy, says, "Which one?"
Exactly.
It was just a marvelous delivery of those two words.
It was a definite huge delivery based upon him, in the sense that he doesn't know certain things.
Well, no, I think he's killed so many people's families. That's what I think it is. Yeah, I think that's how that's just how. Because we know he's been around since the 40s. Well,
exactly.
Except for when he got taken by the Russians, but still, he was around for a good 40, 50 years before the Russians got him, or longer. We don't know exactly how long he's been a soup. But man, when he said that, and the way it
cut deep on Mother's Milk. Marvin was really hurt in the sense that you don't even know my own family that you killed.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And it's just so heartbreaking in the sense that Marvin's like, "Are you kidding me? You can't even tell the difference between people.
You've killed so many families. You've killed so many families and so many people. Oh,
yeah." And talking about people that don't really care about anything, Ashley talking to A-Train. Mm-hmm. How she pulls her hair out due to frustration with her confrontation with him. Then opens up to A-Train and tells him to go F himself. That was straight up standing up for herself at that point. I loved it. But the fact is, you could see how much she is so pressured. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, will she take V24 at one point and go off on people?
I don't know.
It's readily available. Apparently, you probably could get it on the street.
Yeah. I thought that was really interesting too. The way she lines out all of his, when he's so what's the word I'm thinking of? He's so mad about Blue Hawk and what Blue Hawk has done to people, and then she turns it around and she says, "How many people have you killed? How many times have I had to clear?" Cover up
your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You murdered Popclaw. You did this. You did that. And then at the end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, it really looked like that kind of got to him. This is in my notes, so I'm gonna go off on this a little bit.
Go ahead.
A-Train really, it looks like he took it to heart, what she said, because he sounded to me, honest when he told Huey.
Ashley.
Huey. No, when he told Huey sorry about killing, he says, you never
Oh,
apologize.
yeah.
You never
That
apologize for killing my girlfriend. And he said, and really, he sounded really apologetic.
He was
said,
very
I'm sorry.
sincere with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sincere. Thank you. That's the word that I was. He sounded very sincere because it's suddenly been realized. He sees what happens when they mess up and they hurt people. And but then, Huey punches him and we have that whole confrontation. I'll talk some more about that between Huey and Starlight later. But I thought it was just a great moment for A-Train. But of course, then he drags off Blue Hawk and kills him. And apparently it looks like we may be down an A-Train at this point.
Yeah, because it looked like he was having a heart attack at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in my notes as well. For the fact that he took his initiative and taking out Blue Hawk after Herogasm and the exploits and explosions that were going on. And to me, that was, it was justifiable revenge, in my opinion. Blue Hawk, I don't think he was negotiable in any way. There was no way of turning or changing that person. But, it's like, I felt for A-Train, and I felt for of all things, Blue Hawk, because his face was getting scraped on the road.
It was pretty brutal. It was a pretty brutal way.
It was a brutal way, but that's what the show does.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like, I don't know if he got his just desserts, but he didn't even give, I think A-Train gave him the opportunity to apologize and try to come clean, but he did not. And it's one of those people's convictions. And we saw that in the last episode when you, Rob, and myself were actually talking about that and how he was talking to people and talking down about them, upon them. It's really sad. And, it's like, oh, sorry, Blue Hawk, you're gone. You're done. You're not going to be part of the 7. Next up for me would be, the whole look of Herogasm at the twins' house. Wow. That was something. A lot of nudity, soup debauchery, and people wanting to get off sexually, I guess. There was a lot to take in, obviously, and I already spoke about this before. It's not Pornhub by any extent at that extreme of pornography. Little bit craziness with the soup stuff, as we see. I'm not going to go into details.
Yeah.
You got to go see it for yourself.
Watch it for yourselves, listeners, because I don't want to go into details either.
Exactly. It wasn't bad as the movie Caligula, that is for sure, but definitely dirty for Amazon Prime, that is for sure. And honestly, in my opinion, go see it for yourself. If you're faint of heart, don't watch it. If you're not into that kind of thing, don't watch it. You could easily skip ahead. There you go. And then go to the meatier points, or meatier, the part of the meat of the story, what we need to know. So you could go to the very end where you see Butcher and Huey deal with Homelander, as well as Soldier Boy. And then the confrontation with MM and Starlight and how she's talking him down. Those are the points that are really the meat of the show at this point. And we do get something out of Annie Starlight at the very end, which I'm very grateful for. And I'm like worried for her too, but
Yeah. Let's see. My next one is a quick one. It's just it leans into a little bit of what you talked about, but we'll get some more of it when later. But we get to see Huey and Billy shooting up the V again, and seeing just the relish in their eyes of doing it. And then, of course, Homelander, when he shoots Billy with his eyes, he doesn't realize that Billy is a soup. And so when Billy comes back, it's that he has that surprise moment of, oh, you've done something different with yourself, which I was kind of surprised that he didn't notice, like Ryan was able to notice. Maybe just he wasn't just paying attention.
Or smell it or feel it in his blood, like Homelander would. Yeah. Right.
You would think, but I guess he wasn't paying attention to that. But of course, that all leads to that heartbreaking moment between Annie and Huey out there on the road, where he says, "I saved you," and she says, "I don't want you to save me. I just want you to be my boyfriend, basically."
Yes.
And he's like, "I can't do that. I have to be." He wants to be the alpha male, even though he's not an alpha male. He wants to be the savior. He wants to
be the boyfriend who's there to protect his girlfriend, or the guy who's there to protect his family, someone he loves.
Exactly.
And I understand that perspective, but it's a new world. And yes, she is super powered, but she loves him for who he is. And he loves her for who she is, not by her power, but the fact that the power is there really upsets him. Because he feels impotent, if you want to put it into layman's term. He feels impotent as a male. And I feel bad for him. But the thing is, she can't see it that way, but he can't convey it that way, in a sense of making it right so that they could work together with this.
Yeah. And we'll have to see by the end of the season how this turns out, if they end up breaking up, or if they end up getting back together before the end of the season, or what they leave us with. So,
or they're enemies. Who knows? Well, the last part I would have, and everything else is all my notes, the actual Herogasm event at the twins' house. So, let's go into the celebrity cameos. So I was able to pull this off from some website, and apparently they had a list of people that I haven't even seen, and I watched this episode twice. Patton Oswalt, and you mentioned that night on Thursday night when they released it, you did, and then Rob was like, when I told Rob it's up, he was like, "Dude, this is amazing," and I'm like, "Yeah."
the only two I recognized on the second watch were Patton Oswalt and then Kumail Nanjiani.
Yep.
There towards the end, those two I definitely recognize, but the rest of them, I there's somebody. But go ahead.
I'm gonna list them. The others that you didn't catch, but somebody else apparently caught, was Josh Gad.
Okay.
Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher,
okay,
Elizabeth Banks, Aisha Taylor, and Rose Byrne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went past it, Rose Byrne.
Yeah.
But Aisha Taylor? I'm like, really? But yeah, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they're married, but okay, I have to go back. I gotta look for it. If anybody could get screen grabs, I don't care how graphic, but whatever. I just want to see if they're actually in it. There was another person in there. He's a Korean actor. He was in Harold and Kumar's something for White Castle. He was in that, and I saw him right away, and he approached Huey, so he's definitely in there. The name is eluding my mind right now, but I'm pretty sure everybody knows. He's been on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. Let us know. Please put him in the comments when we put this on Facebook.
Okay, so I was talking about the scene at the beginning where they're singing the song.
Oh, okay.
That where they're singing "Imagine." That's where we see Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani, and I think that's where Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are, and Josh Gad is.
I'm talking about within. Oh, okay,
in the house. You're talking about in the house that there was.
I'm talking in the house. Yeah.
Okay.
So, they used "Imagine" by John Lennon, which was during the pandemic. Okay, so now I'm starting to see it. Okay.
Yeah, that's where Patton Oswalt and Kumail Nanjiani show up as the beginning of the episode.
Okay, so they weren't part of the debauchery within the Herogasm.
Not as far as I know they weren't. But
okay.
But those other ones might have been. The Korean actor, I think I do know, because it was that moment when he runs into the guy that runs into Mother's Milk and puts something on his jacket.
Correct.
And he's like, "What did he do to my jacket?" That's the guy you're talking about.
All right. So they kind of reused stuff that they used during the pandemic when they were trying to gain awareness for people during the pandemic. So that's where that came from. So the only person that was there was that Korean actor at the event. Okay. Now I'm starting to develop that in my brain. I'm like, where is this? I thought it was at the event. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, you can see all those people in that particular video clip. They were not in that particular scene during Herogasm, but that Korean actor, comedian was there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys know the name, let us know.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah,
what
I
else?
mean, that is all. The other thing I've got a few other things here actually. Victoria Newman and Annie, that scene on the little talk show thing was such an amazing, and that moment after the talk show, that's just an amazing scene where we see Victoria just laying out everything. Like, she knows that Starlight knows she's the head popper. She knows that Huey knows. She knows that Homelight is a fake thing. You know, she realized that she knows that she can't stand working with the Deep, and all these things that Victoria Newman knows in that moment, kind of where she kind of threatens Starlight a little bit. And I thought in the first time I watched it, I thought I saw a little bit of a nosebleed on Annie.
There is.
Okay, there is. Okay, because the second time I didn't catch it in the second time. But I think there was a little bit of a nosebleed there where she kind of gave her that, a little nosebleed there to tell her that she's more powerful than Starlight is.
Yes.
Also, she suspects that Maeve is dead, which we don't know that yet for sure. Mm-hmm. And then, I love that whole monologue that Starlight gives her about leaving Vought and not giving an F anymore and all that, because it foreshadows what Annie does at the end of the episode that you started kind of talking about, where again, another monologue that I just loved, where she ends
was
it
amazing.
She ends it with, "I'm no longer Starlight, I'm Annie January." So it's just, wow, I'm getting choked up just remembering it, because it's such a good monologue.
It was such a good monologue, and I think that was the best part of the actual episode. Mm-hmm. It's her opening up, saying, "I have these powers, but yet my name is Annie January." Mm-hmm. And to me, that made a lot more sense. It's basically opening up to the world. I am who I am. Deal with me for who I am. I'm not this Vought created superhero that could be plastered on billboards, on a cup drink, or what have you. Nothing marketed. I am me. And I'm not going to be this person anymore. So, now, mind you, Vought's probably going to point out and go after her for that. Now she's going to have to take safety somewhere. And the only place to get safety anywhere is with Butcher and the boys. And now she's upset with Huey, and he's part of the boys. So, I'm curious.
I can't wait till next week to see where this goes, because, man. We might have to bring Rob on again, because Rob likes to have fun with this stuff. Because two episodes left.
We got 2 episodes left. So if you guys want Rob back on, let us know, because it was fun having him on. It was kind of like open forum at that point, and I like the open forum, like, kind of way we've been doing things lately. I have a few notes here. It's by The Deep, saying, now $49.99 plus tax. They used the pandemic, John. All right. It was during the whole pandemic thing with the John Lennon thing. Buy Deeper for $4.99 plus tax. That was in the corner when he was going up there, and then they had the whole roll going through. I thought that was hilarious.
What we haven't talked about Kimiko and Sergey yet, and Frenchie. Everything that went on with that, Kimiko, it was just one of those moments in the show that made me feel bad for her when she realizes the same thing that Butcher kind of talked about in the last episode, to where the V just kind of enhances who you are, and she's telling Frenchie that I had this in me all along. And Frenchie's like, no, it's not, that's not you, that's not who you are. And she's like, well, yeah, this is who we are. And even she says to Frenchie that stuff was not true that Nina said about you, but she knows it's true. So I love where these characters are going, and I don't know how far they're going to get into this. Part of me, the first time I watched it, I was kind of hoping that maybe her powers would reactivate and she'd
Same
heal.
here. Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad she didn't, because she's very fierce and formidable just on her own. and so her and Frenchie, she and Frenchie are going to have to figure out a way to live without powers, and so it just really was a great, again, another great scene of seeing them there with Cherie, and to see how that's going to develop in the next few episodes as well. What's going to happen with Nina? Because remember, Nina got away, even though some of her men were killed. So obviously, we're going to see some more of that. So that's the last of my points.
Oh, I have a lot of them, but I'll start with the first one. What's with the sticky goo from Huey's ear? Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that. I saw that and I had it in my notes, but I forgot to mention it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. If that's a side effect of the V or what. So it's going to be. We'll have to see where that comes from.
Yeah, I wonder if it mutates and then something goes on. Homelander's little talk with himself within the mirror.
I had this in my notes.
He's basically self-healing within himself, giving himself confidence. He is basically self-deprecating, and the mirror self literally is helping him in some way. And is that something from his subconscious? That's my thought.
Yeah. See, I saw it more of like a schizophrenia kind of, because he says
he is nuts.
He says, because the mirror guy says, I took care of us when we were in the bad room, remember? And it's kind of that thing of pushing down one personality and another personality coming out. Yeah. So he's definitely crazy. So
basically, we're getting a Moon Knight here in The Boys with dissociative disorder personality. Dissociative personality disorder, I should say.
Yeah, we might see that.
There is a Wilhelm scream with the Twins movie with Soldier Boy. I thought that was pretty funny. Soldier Boy not knowing about what happened within Manhattan. He blacked out and didn't know what happened, so that's going to be an ongoing thing. So somebody could actually trigger at any given point. You already talked about Butcher and Huey shooting up in front of him. And that's about it. Yeah.
I've got a couple of quotes that I haven't used yet. First one was when Annie was taking pictures of Deep and his fish liaison. She says Homelander is going to love this. She's taking pictures of him.
Well, that's payback for her. Honestly,
exactly.
From season 1.
Exactly. I loved Soldier Boy is just getting started by Marvin when he figures out what Soldier Boy is doing. Mm-hmm. And then my last one is just when Butcher comes back from getting the information about the twins and Huey says, "You're bleeding." And he says, "Not mine." I just thought was a great Butcher kind of line. It's not mine. Not my blood,
Not my blood. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Right. I have a few quotes. One will be, well, he's not Emmanuel Lewis, and that's Soldier Boy to Butcher about Homelander.
No, that was about when he said he killed. That was to Butcher when he said he killed Gunpowder, and he said that's like killing Emmanuel Lewis.
Oh,
it's like a nothing. Right. Like Gunpowder was a nothing kind of kid. Yeah. Okay. But it is a great line.
Well, Bill Cosby is American's dad, and he wouldn't be caught within that gear. I tell you, and that Soldier Boy about what he sees on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, come on, the deep fakes of me blowing of Bin Laden. They were asking for it, and that was Victoria about why she blew up the people in Congress.
That
to
was
get her
great.
position. Yeah. Those were the only few quotes that I got. Apparently, I got that one about Emmanuel Lewis.
That's okay.
But those were our thoughts, and it's so funny that this episode, like we said before, is off like a crazy train. We have so much going on about this particular show that everybody could just talk about it regularly. It might not be regular water cooler talk, but it's what we talk about. So, and for those people that were, when Rob was on with us last, he said basically, when I told him episode 6 was up the other night when you said to me it's up on Thursday. He goes, damn, I will see it. And he goes, yo, did you see this episode? Holy poop. And I said, yeah, it was wild. So, yeah, Rob's on board. He's been on board since. So, yeah, he loves what's going on. That's basically our coverage about the boys. And let's move on to what we normally do with this particular podcast.
I did not see any feedback on
Same
Instagram or Facebook. So just people, if you got feedback, send it on in. We'll love to hear it.
Exactly. And, how can people submit their feedback?
Well, as always, we tell you that we are available on all the podcast players of choice. If there's an opportunity for you to give us a review on there, we would love that. We'll give you a shout out here on the podcast for it.
Awesome. And you can check out our website, which will be panels2pixelspodcast.com. And it's currently under construction, like I stated. It will be available by the end of July.
We are on Facebook, facebook.com/panels2pixels.
We are on Twitter at panels2pixels. That's panels, the number 2, pixels.
And you can send us an email where you can send us a straight up email with just words, or heck, attach a voice message to it and we'll play it here on the podcast. That email address is panels2pixels1@gmail.com. That's panels2pixels1, the TO spelled out right in the middle, the number 1@gmail.com.
Yes. And you can find us on YouTube. So all you have to do is search Panels to Pixels Podcast and we'll be found. You could see our image from our podcast artwork. Just subscribe, follow, and give us a thumbs up if you like the content there is on there. Honestly, I did the Kevin Smith. We do video on occasion. When I go to Terrificon with Rob Moda, who is on the last episode, we will probably do some video from Terrificon with interviews if we do any, or just cover the event as we're there. So, Terrificon is located at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, and it's going to be on the 29th till the 31st of July. So, Rob and I will probably be there that Saturday on the 30th. So, check in. We will provide the YouTube. So, check it out when it's there. We not only do our podcast on the YouTube with just a blank screen with obviously our image of our podcast, but we also do video as well, just like with the Kevin Smith interview or with the Comic Book Man on the 100th episode. Kevin was 200th, Comic Book Man was 100. So, we're going to try to provide a little bit more video as time pursues. So, just keep track with that. And we love to hear your thoughts on that as well.
Very cool. We are on Instagram at Panels2Pixels Podcast. That's Panels2Pixels Podcast, all spelled out.
And check out all the other podcasts on the Next Level Podcast Network. We highly recommend them all. Wilhelm, I just got to listen to the Father's Day special with Ben and Kristen, and I thought that was pretty cool. I listened to it on the way back. So there you could listen to the Wilhelm. You could listen to the Melting Pat, Podcast Zero, and so much more. All you have to do is go to nextlevelradioonline.com and check them out all there, and just go to their links, or just go to your podcast player of choice and subscribe and listen to them there. We highly endorse all of them.
Very, very cool. Coming up for us will be the next episode of Ms. Marvel, which is Destined. And then, of course, we'll continue our coverage of The Boys, and eventually we will be picking up the Umbrella Academy as well.
Yes, and within the next 2 weeks. Where else can listeners hear us, Steve?
Well, I submit voice messages to various podcasts that our friends do when I remember to do them. And they play those, particularly that I've been doing, trying to keep up on is Strange Indeed, which is covering Stranger Things season 4 right now. I send them voice messages often. And then as well as on the Podcasting Network, what WTF is from, trying to catch up with them as well.
Awesome. And as always, you could hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, therein where we cover fantasy, action, adventure, suspense, and thriller films. Anything that gets your adrenaline going. So coming up, obviously, Top Gun Maverick. I know I've been talking about it a lot. It's edited.
I finally got to go see it yesterday. It's
Awesome.
amazing. It's so lived up to the hype. I have a couple little quibbles with it, but not
Same
anything
here.
not anything that takes away from the overall of the movie. So it's really, really good.
Yeah, same here. And you guys could hear that probably soon after you get this particular podcast. I'll be on doing contact with Lizzie from Aim for the Head. And after that will be Jerry Gomez and myself. We're going to be talking about the Angry Red Planet, and then continue our coverage about the Apes movies. And obviously, we're going to go right into Predator, and we're going to do Prey, which is what is it? Is it the fourth episode or fourth movie of
There's
the Predator
so many
series?
Predator. There's so many in the Predator. If you include the Alien in Predator series, there's so many. Out
Okay.
That it's
So
it's
basically,
crazy. But
the newest iteration, as it were.
yeah. I think straight up Predator is this would be the fifth one, because I think Predator, Predator 2, and then The Predator and Predators, I think, or Predators and then The Predator. I think those are all the straight kind of sequels. But if you lump in the Alien versus
AVP.
Predator movies, there's a 3 or 4 more as well. So
Yeah, so basically, you'll listen to me and Steve talk about Predator, and then we're going to go into Prey. Hopefully, we'll continue on with the rest of the Predator series. We could do Predator 2, we could do Predators, and then The Predator, hopefully. And we can have fun with those. So you can listen to me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast on the Piratecore Entertainment Network. All you have to do is go to piratecoreentertainment.com. And you can check all the feeds there for Run for Your Lives, Watch It in the 80s, Fantasy Picks Movie Edition, and Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. Obviously, we're on every player of choice. Check them all out. And that's pretty much it. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
and I'm Steve.
And this was Panels to Pixels. And we'll check you out on the next panel. Good night.
Good night, everybody.